Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of The Decap. Now, this is going to be a basketball podcast with some other sports included, but mostly basketball, NBA, and college. And today we will start off with an NBA podcast ranking the top 15 point guards. At number 1, we have Steph Curry. This list will be made with no injuries, so Steph Curry can be on it. Well, Steph Curry's not injured, but most of the season he was. But Steph Curry, number 1, he's an amazing shooter. We all know that. The greatest shooter of all time. Steph Curry's a winner. Won multiple finals. You could say KD carried them to the finals, but when KD wasn't there, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry was the guy. Scoring the points, leading the team, he was the guy. And Steph Curry, as I just mentioned, is a leader. He makes his team better. Draymond Green without Steph Curry, it might just be he doesn't try when he doesn't have Steph Curry, but when Draymond Green and Steph Curry are together, Draymond Green is, I wouldn't say amazing, but he is a good player, a great player. Steph Curry can drop 40 points every night, can hit a clutch three when you need one. He is just the real deal. Number 2, we have Damian Lillard. Now, the one thing I think of when I think Damian Lillard is clutch. He had that one shot that ended the Thunder's whole organization. Well, emphasized a bit, but he hit the shot. The Thunder just... Russell Westbrook's now gone. Now, Paul George is now gone. They are in a good situation with all the picks, but they're not going to win anytime soon. So, Damian Lillard, he leads a Trailblazers team that isn't very talented. They have CJ, but I don't know about CJ. They have Nurkic, but he's been injured a lot. And when he is good, they go far, as you saw last year. But Damian Lillard leads this Trailblazers team to the playoffs every year. And yeah, you might have said they might not have made it this year, but once again, when you don't have a good center, it's kind of hard. But Damian Lillard leads this not so talented team. They have him, CJ, But he leads them far every year. Behind his 29 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. In most eras, that is MVP-like numbers. Now, when you have James Harden, Giannis, you might not win MVP, but those are insane numbers, almost averaging a double-double, getting some rebounds. He's not amazing at defense. He's not a liability. He's decent. Moving to number 3 is Kyrie Irving. Once again, he's clutch. He had the shot that won the Cavaliers the final over Steph Curry, beating the Warriors. He's the best handles in the NBA, hands down. He's really fun to play with in 2K because of those handles. He's Uncle Drew, after all. He averages 27 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, great stats, and he can take over a game when he wants to. Kyrie Irving, if he turns that switch, he can get you a bucket. Now, the one thing that I don't like about him is that I really don't think that he can be the number 1 option on a winning team. He needed LeBron, and when he went to the Celtics to be the number 1 guy, he failed. So with the Nets, he should be better because he has Kevin Durant. Now moving on to my 4th guy, Russell Westbrook. He is a triple-double machine, averaging a triple-double. Not this year, but he has. First since Oscar Robertson. Russell Westbrook hustles like nothing you've ever seen. He drives to the hole with power. He rebounds like a center. 2019 in the 2019 to 2020 season, all the stats have been as so far in the 2019 to 2020 season. Russell has averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists on a team with James Harden, who takes the ball a lot. But Russell Westbrook still averages 28 points. He gets 8 rebounds. He gets 7 assists. Now, looking at those stats, he's been on good teams before. The two things I don't like about him are he can't shoot the 3 ball like the guys in front of him. He can't. And the second thing is he can be a ball hog and a stat stuffer. Like, he might snatch a ball. He might snatch a rebound from Steven Adams, or not, like on the Thunder days. He might have grabbed a ball from Steven Adams just to stuff the stats. But, that's fine. Do what you got to do, man. Moving on to the fifth player on my list. The fifth best point guard in the NBA right now is Kemba Walker. He's averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Now, his stats aren't crazy like the point guards in front of him. But the one thing I like about Kemba is when you need him to, when the Celtics need him to, he'll go get you a bucket. When Jason Tatum's having an off night, when Jaylen Brown is having an off night, he'll go get that bucket for you. 21 points. His point numbers are staggered, sometimes 30, sometimes 15, 10. Kemba Walker is a great point guard, great leader. Now, speaking of good leaders, the sixth guy on my list is one of the best point guard leaders in the NBA, and that is Kyle Lowry. He doesn't be a number one option. He doesn't get 30 points a game, but he does the little things and he does them well. He didn't lead the Raptors because they had Kawhi, Pascal, but he was very important on that championship winning Raptors team. Without him, the Raptors wouldn't have won. He's amazing at defense. He can score the ball. He can pass the ball. He's everything you want in a point guard. Now, someone that may not necessarily be everything you want, number 7, Trey Young. He's an amazing scorer. Amazing. He can drop you 50 points a game when he wants to. He's the next Steph Curry. But the one thing, his defense is atrocious. He's a matchup nightmare on the offensive end, and also can get beat, which will cause him nightmares and the Hawks nightmares because his defense is so bad. If he can improve the defense to just league average, he will skyrocket in these rankings just because of his scoring ability and his shooting. Trey Young on the offensive end is amazing. Defensive end, the opposite. Now, coming in at number 8 on this list, somewhat like Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul, number 8. Great leader, great leader. He's can do everything on the court. He can score, he can pass, do a little bit of rebounding, a good defender, not amazing, not terrible. Chris Paul is underrated just because of his contract. If he was making, say, $20 million a year, 25, like he should, he would be number 8 on everyone's list because he's just a great point guard. It's just he's making about $38 million a year, and people see that contract, see the stats, don't see 30 and 10, and they're like, oh, overrated. But when everyone, it's the consensus that he is overrated, doesn't that mean you're underrated? Chris Paul, great point guard, on the Thunder, leading that team to the playoffs. He's just a great player. Underrated. Number 9, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, like Trey Young, is a young guy that can skyrocket in these rankings if one thing improves. That one thing, everybody knows, his jump shot. He's great at driving to the rim, great at passing, great at defense. It's just the one thing he's missing is a jump shot. If he can develop a jump shot, he will be top five point guard, I think, on everyone's list. He's just that talented at every other part of basketball. But it's just that one thing holding him back, the jump shot. He's been working on it, hasn't improved much. Number 10 on my list is De'Aaron Fox. He is so quick. And people might say he's a little high, but number 10 seems right to me. He was injured for a bit at the beginning of the 2019 season, had a slow start, but in 2020 and in 2019, he's been amazing. De'Aaron Fox, great in transition, one of the best in transition. He kind of replaced John Wall as that speedy point guard that could who's a freak athletically. And just De'Aaron Fox, people say he's bad on the defensive end. He's not amazing. I probably wouldn't say he's good. He's average, which is okay. But he could be better with that speed. Number 11 is another super young guy in Jamal Murray. It's only his rookie season, but already I believe he is number 11 worthy. He's just that good. He's led this Grizzlies team to the playoffs. And Jamal Murray, it's just, I think he was underrated going into the draft. People said Zion, no doubt. Well, I think Jamal Murray will be better in the long term just because he won't get injured. Jamal Murray is averaging about 18 points, 7 assists. He's playmaking, he's scoring, and it's only up from here. Jamal Murray is a great player. Like De'Aaron Fox, he's an amazing athlete, has crazy dunks. And over the next 5 years, he could be the best point guard. Maybe not the next 5 years, but in his prime, when he's 28, 29, I could see him being the best point guard in the NBA. Now, at number 12 on my list is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, I feel like people in 2018, 2019, people love Jamal Murray. But ever since he got that contract extension, people still like him, but I feel like he's not loved as much, which I think he should be. He's a great player in the NBA. He's averaging 19 points, 5 assists, has a decent jump shot, defense is but Jamal Murray is a perfect point guard to play with Nikola Jokic. Well, not perfect, but a good point guard. He's a good fit, good player. Again, the money underrates him because the contract extension is so much money. But he's still an amazing point guard. Well, not amazing. Elite point guard that, if I was a Nuggets fan, I'd be happy to have him moving into the future. Another young guy, number 13, DAngelo Russell. Now, people would say, what, DAngelo Russell? He's so low. But I think he's very much overrated. He's terrible on the defensive end like Trey Young. And he's worse on the offensive end than Trey Young. So I just feel like he's very much overrated. And 13, I am 13, right? Yeah. 13 seems good for him. He's averaging 23 points, 6 assists, which is good numbers. It's just the defense is terrible. So he needs a good defensive backcourt mate, or else he will be a major liability, and I don't see the Timberwolves going anywhere if they don't add another defensive. Well, not another, because Karl Anthony Towns, bad defenders. If they don't add a defensive player. 14, talking of defensive players, I have Malcolm Brogdon. He was off to a hot start in the beginning of the 2019 to 2020 season. He did cool down, but still, he's been playing at an elite defensive level, and his offense hasn't been that bad. His playmaking, amazing, averaging 7 assists, not amazing, but great. Points, 16 points, that's not bad. Now, people expected Victor Oladipo to lead this team and to be like the best player by far, but I would say it's closer than people think, as just Victor Oladipo hasn't been as good and Malcolm Brogdon has been way better. The Bucks really lost someone that will be good in the future. He did stay in college though, so he's a little old. But Malcolm Brogdon, number 14, great defensively, okay offensively. Now, rounding out my top 15 is Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe is a great compliment to Giannis. He can get a bucket when Giannis is off the floor. And he's averaging 15 points, 5 assists, about 5 rebounds. He's kind of just a do-it-everything. I think he's kind of a poor man's Chris Paul, but he's still a great point guard. He's a little small, 6'1", but Eric Bledsoe, he's a good leader, and he was great on the Suns. He's been, obviously not as good on the stats-wise, but on the court he plays well. He hasn't been as good stats-wise because of Giannis and Chris Middleton, but Eric Bledsoe, good player, number 15, I see worthy for him. Now I have 2 honorable mentions. First of all, Dejounte Murray. He definitely will be top 15 in the future, as he is an amazing offensive is one thing that he needs to prove. Dejounte Murray is an amazing defensive player. If he can improve his offense, he'll be on that list for sure. Second honorable mention, John Wall. I would put John Wall on here, but I just feel like it's been so long, and I don't know how he's going to be amazing at defense after how long it has been. So, reading out my top 15 point guards in the NBA right now. 1, Steph Curry. 2, Damian Lillard. 3, Kyrie Irving. 4, Russell Westbrook. 5, Kemba Walker. 6, Kyle Lowry. 7, Trey Young. 8, Chris Paul. 9, Ben Simmons. 10, De'Aaron Fox. 11, Ja Morant. 12, Jamal Murray. 13, DAngelo Russell. 14, Malcolm Brogdon. 15, Eric Bledsoe, with 2 honorable mentions of Dejounte Murray and John Wall. I really hope you enjoyed this pilot episode of the Decap, and I hope you return to listen to my basketball analysis. I hope you have a good one. Peace.